The air in Shadowfen Valley clung heavy with a silence that tasted of forgotten grief. Elias Thorne felt it immediately as the old pickup truck, borrowed from the county council, crunched over the overgrown gravel path leading to Thornecross Manor. His new assignment, managing the sprawling, desolate estate earmarked for future restoration by some well-meaning but detached committee, felt less like a job and more like an exile. The manor loomed ahead, a skeletal silhouette against the bruised twilight sky, its countless windows like vacant eyes staring into an unseen abyss. Old Man Hemlock, the local groundskeeper, had been waiting by the rusted gates, a figure carved from the very desolation of the valley. His weathered face, a roadmap of unspoken sorrows, offered a terse greeting. "You're the new one then, Elias Thorne." He handed over a massive iron ring heavy with ancient keys. "Be careful, lad. This place, it has its own ways. The old ways. They say the ground here remembers what the living forget." He gestured vaguely towards the village, a cluster of skeletal ruins barely visible through the mist. Shadowfen, it wasn't always this quiet. They just left, one night, all of them. Hemlock's eyes, milky with age, held a glimmer of genuine fear. "And sometimes they come back for what's owed." He departed without another word, leaving Elias to the encroaching gloom and the manor's unsettling embrace. Elias tried to dismiss the old man's ramblings as superstitious nonsense, a quirk of isolated rural life. The manor, despite its imposing size, was merely old. Its creaks and groans were just the settling of ancient timbers. The faint whispers he heard on the wind, like the rustling of brittle leaves, were merely the wind. A pervasive chill that seeped into his bones, even by the sputtering warmth of a newly lit fire, was just the dampness of an unheated stone edifice. He spent the first few days attempting to impose order, to catalog the dusty remnants of lives long past, his phone signal stubbornly refusing to break the valley's isolation. It was on the fourth evening, while trying to trace a persistent draft, that he found it. Behind a heavy, moth-eaten tapestry depicting a hunting scene, a section of the wall felt hollow. Pressing against it, a hidden latch clicked, revealing a narrow, dust-choked study. A single, ornate desk stood in the center, a brass lamp on its surface, and beside it, a leather-bound journal. The tremor that ran through Elias was not just from the cold. He recognized the elegant, yet increasingly frantic, script on the opening page. Arthur Croft, his predecessor. Croft's initial entries mirrored Elias's own, a detached professional optimism. But soon, a subtle shift began. "The manor speaks," Croft had scrawled, not with words, but with a palpable presence, a hunger. He detailed the rising tide of disquiet and the shifting shadows, the unearthly cold, the faint, disembodied whispers that seemed to coil around his thoughts. Croft, a scholar in his own right, had delved into the manor's archives, unearthing chilling local legends. He wrote of a terrible famine that had gripped Shadowfen centuries ago, and the dark pact made by the desperate villagers with a forgotten entity, a lord of the Shadowfen, to save their dying children. The price, a sullen take of a soul, every 10 years, to maintain the fragile peace. Croft's entries grew increasingly agitated. "They vanished," he wrote, "the entire village overnight. Not a trace. But the pact was broken, or perhaps they were the first great tithe, and the manor holds the debt." He meticulously charted the past sacrifices, often anonymous wanderers, or unfortunate souls drawn into the valley's grim orbit. The current date, etched into Croft's final pages, sent a shiver of ice through Elias's veins. It was only days away. The eyes there everywhere now, always watching. They hunger. They whisper my name, promise eternal quiet if I join them. Croft had tried to escape. Frantic scribbles describing roads dissolving into mist, the valley walls rising impossibly high, an invisible force pulling him back. His last legible words were desperate. "Jack, please. They are coming. I am the offering. Do not follow." Elias dropped the journal, his breath catching in his throat. The faint whispers in the manor had intensified, coalescing into a mournful, hungry chorus. The air grew impossibly cold, the kind of cold that stole the warmth from his very bones. Shadows detached themselves from the corners of the room, elongating, twisting into gaunt, spectral forms with eyes that burned like dying embers. A guttural moan echoed from the walls themselves, a sound of ancient, boundless hunger. He scrambled for the door, but it slammed shut with an echoing boom, the ancient latch clicking into place. Every window, moments before merely dark, now appeared opaque, swathed in an impenetrable, swirling blackness. The spectral forms, translucent yet terrifyingly corporeal, began to advance, their collective whispers now a deafening roar in his mind. The tithe joined his peace, eternal quiet. They reached for him, their ethereal touch like 1,000 needles of ice piercing his flesh. He screamed, a raw, primal sound, but the manor swallowed it whole. The only sound that escaped was the escalating chorus of the hungry dead. He felt himself dissolving, his consciousness fading, his very essence being drawn into the chilling vortex of ancient, unending hunger. Weeks later, a concerned colleague, unable to reach Elias by phone, dispatched local authorities to Thornecross Manor. They found the sprawling estate silent, undisturbed, yet profoundly empty. No sign of Elias Thorne, no struggle, no broken window. Only the pervasive chill that permeated the very stone of the manor. On the dusty desk in the hidden study, beneath the flickering glow of a single, untouched lamp, they found a newly placed, pristine journal. Its first entry, stark and unsettling, was written in a hand that was chillingly familiar. "My name is Elias Thorne. I am the new offering, and the debt it is still owed." The silence of Shadowfen Valley deepened, the whispers within Thornecross Manor, eternally patient, awaiting the next cycle.